These last few years have made us question everything. Our relationships, our jobs, what constitutes an office, and who we are. In a world filled with chaos, confusion, and uncertainty, it's time for some clarity. It's time to start understanding one another. It's time to start understanding ourselves. We envision a world where everyone knows their why. But even more, we envision a world where everyone knows their YOS. Their why, their how, and their what. The operating system that drives you, that lets the world know where you stand, what your unique gift is, and most importantly, who you are. YOS. Are you ready?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Why to Why for the month of April. How was that video? If you like that video, I can't wait for you to meet our guests because they are the brains behind that video and the people that made it look so cool. So today we have a special couple of guests. The title of our show is Talking Why to Why with the Y Force. And I'm Dan Dominguez, the Chief Growth Officer here at Y Institute. So my why is to contribute to the success of others. How I do that is by challenging the status quo. And what I do is I help people make sense of the complex and challenging. So if you're not familiar with the 9 whys, I'm going to give you a very quick overview. The first why is to contribute to a greater cause. The second why is to create relationships based on trust. Number 3 is to make sense of things, especially if they're complex or complicated. The fourth is better way, to find a better way and share it with others. Number 5 is to do things the right way in order to get consistent, reliable results. Number 6 is to challenge the status quo and think differently. Number 7, mastery. People with the why of mastery seek mastery and understanding, depth, and breadth. Number 8 is clarify, to make things crystal clear and understandable. And number 9 is simplify. So those are the 9 whys. Everybody has one of those whys. Probably as I was going through them, if you're new to the show, you're thinking of people with that specific why. But now it's time to introduce our guest. So my first guest today is the lovely and talented Isabella Sanchez, who is joining us all the way from Colorado. Let's see. What can I tell you about Bella? I've known Bella for quite a long time, probably longer than she cares to admit. She believes that success happens when we create relationships based on trust. How she does that is by making sense of the complicated or challenging, and ultimately what she brings are simple solutions. And that's exactly what she does at Y Institute. She was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, went to college at Colorado State University, and she studied apparel and merchandising as well as business. She's worked at Jobsology, tech startup, at Orange Theory Fitness, and currently she's our Y Institute Chief Content Creator. So she had a big hand in that video that you guys just saw, and she's a marketer. Her passions include cooking intricate meals, which I know she does a really good job at. They have to be spicy, and any form of fitness, whether it's HIIT classes to yoga, piano, golf, and the occasional attempt at making people laugh. You know, I can attest to that. She can be very funny, and she's currently Y Institute doubles pickleball champion. Let's not forget that one. That was a big accomplishment. Your dad could not get over the fact that we beat him in pickleball.
Yeah, he still wants a rematch.
Well, we'll have to figure out. He's going to have to figure out a new partner. So maybe our next guest can be that partner for him. So let me introduce our next guest, who is Aidan Leonard. So Aidan, she's the marketing director here at Y Institute. She works heavily in our marketing strategy and execution. She creates season content creation, data analysis. She creates and implements our digital marketing strategy. She's building our brand awareness. She's inspiring our community-based engagement to elevate our overall marketing efforts. She also went to Colorado State University, where she graduated with a degree in journalism and media communications with a concentration in marketing and advertising and a business minor. She worked for a small startup in Northern Colorado as a marketing coordinator and social media manager. And now she's crafting strategy and analyzing data for us. You could find her on a white sandy beach in Hawaii, sipping a margarita and reading a novel when she's not working. So did I get all that right, Aidan?
I mean, you missed the murder part of the novel, but
All right.
yeah.
Okay, let's make it really simple. Tell us about the most important part of the novel.
Only murder novels.
Only murder novels. So what makes it all so great? You're in Hawaii. You got to be up earlier than all of us because we start all kind of at the same time. How do you handle that, Aidan?
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
And I just go to sleep really, really early. So I'm basically just a 90-year-old man going to sleep at like 6 in the afternoon and then waking up at 4 in the morning.
that makes you 52. That's how old I am. And that's my not 90. I know I look 90, but oh my gosh. Hey, Watson Jordan said, yeah, best video to date. So kudos. So you guys had a hand in that video. So tell me, because all I know is just amazing stuff comes out. And we get to just enjoy it. But you guys are creating it. Tell me about that video that Watson is commenting about.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of Bella, for sure.
Lots of that one was from the YOS final release. And I just kind of wrote a quick little script of what I thought that it meant for us, especially coming out of the pandemic a little bit right then. And, we've lost a lot of our relationships ability to see each other, I guess, during that time. And the YOS just gives you that little bit of connection to someone that was finally coming back. So that was kind of where it came from.
I love that. So what you said, Bella, is you created that script. You are amazing. So you're our chief blogger also, and you're so amazing at creating great content. I know Gary's voice was on that, and I know of course, he has final editing, but it sounded so good. It made so much sense.
For once, he actually didn't better way that one, which normally doesn't happen. He just let me write the script, and he didn't say a word.
He just went with it, and it was beautifully created. So, Aidan, what's your part in creating that kind of stuff? Because you're leading the overall charge and kind of deciding what the direction is. What was your hand in that?
I think I just kind of decided that we really needed a promotional video for things like in our newsletter and to put onto our website, to publish out in social media and everything. And video is just the easiest way to connect with people in a simple manner, and to just people want to watch videos these days. And I think that was just a simple way to connect with everybody on a deeper level. So really
I love what you've brought to Y Institute, because that was something, I'm a LinkedIn user. That's kind of where I live. You brought us to the world of Instagram and posting more on Facebook so that we can get our message out to more people. But one of the things that you've convinced me of is how effective video is. I love sending video messages now. I didn't even used to do that. So kudos for bringing that to us. What's the difference between video and just a regular post?
I mean, you can use static images or just, captions of words and the copy and everything. But I think people's attention span people don't want to read a lot of stuff anymore, and they don't. Right. It takes so much to grab someone's attention because you're competing with everybody else out on the internet, anybody who has a phone or, the internet at all. So you just really have to find ways to stand out. And I think if you can put it into video and immediately grab their attention, then that's the best way to do it. You can use static images too, but they're just not as entertaining. So I just prefer video.
Love that. Love that. So there's a comment from Watson Jordan. He said the core benefits of Y up front and center in the intro. And that's where I think you guys did a great job, Bella. These are the benefits that you get. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, because I think what's really cool about having you guys on, we tell people all the time, right? We conduct workshops and we help people discover their why, and their teams discover their why. And our coaches do a great job of that. Watson does that. Lynn does that. All of our coaches do that. But we get to talk about how we use it. So what does it mean to you, Aidan, to talk why to why?
So, I mean, I use it every day. I speak why to why with Abel, my boyfriend. I speak why to why with you guys. And to me, it's just being able to understand someone on a deeper level so that you can communicate and treat people the way that they want to be treated, which we call the platinum rule. And I just kind of use it as a filter in in how I communicate. So for example, Abel's YOS is better way, challenge, clarify. So he's almost the exact opposite of me. And so I think we would have a lot more struggle if I didn't know his YOS and I didn't accept, that he wants to innovate and he wants to find better ways. He wants to challenge the status quo. And he also really needs to be clear. So where I'm trying to simplify things and I've already made sense of something, he is trying to challenge things and he needs clarity. So we could really butt heads a lot more if we didn't understand those things about each other. And I think that's the gift that the YOS has given us. So that's what it means.
Excellent.
Yeah, the other day we actually looked up Abel's full YOS to 9, and he's literally like the exact opposite. Contribute and simplify. We're on
his 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
So let's clarify that for those in the audience that have not taken the YOS. When you take the YOS, and Watson, you know this because you probably do this with your clients. So those of you that are listening, you get not only your top 3, which are your why, your how, and your what, but we also rank where you rank every one of the whys from 1 through 9. So what you're talking about is that Abel is he puts your top 3 as his bottom 3.
I think he has make sense somewhere in the middle, but
I think make sense was a little higher.
Contribute is number 8 and simplify was number 9. And sometimes I think my simplify is more than my contribute. So it's like he just is not a simple person at all. So that
and that will happen, right? Because simplify is probably the exact opposite of challenge. Challenge is all about nothing. There's nothing simple about challenge, right?
Yeah.
Bella, what about you? So one of the things that we know, and I think we let the secret out very early because I mentioned your dad. But so you're Bella Sanchez, daughter of Gary Sanchez. You've been around the Y longer, just as long as Gary Sanchez has been around. He probably tried to discover your why when you were 4 years old. So what's that been like? You've been with Y Institute as long as Gary.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember him cornering me. He kept trying to get me to discover my why when I was younger. And being a teenager, you want absolutely nothing to do with him, like at all. Like the thought of spending more than 5 minutes with my parents was just horrible. So I avoided it for a really long time. I actually told Watson this story yesterday. But we went on a family vacation and he sat next to me on a plane, and that's how he forced me into discovering my why. And back then it was not just a quick 5-minute assessment, so everyone had that luxury. But back then it was like a very long emotional experience, and I hated it. So I was so uncomfortable, obviously, because I was a trust, and I just cried through the whole thing because I was like, I don't talk about these successes in my life ever. And so it was just a very awkward experience. But then once it came out trust, I was like, this makes so much sense. And I used to go with him to back then when it was Know Your Why, before we kind of took down the company and then rebuilt it as Y Institute. There were like these coach events where they would have coaches practice, and you'd bring someone on stage and they would go through that experience with them. And it was funny. Every single trust always cried every time. And I was like, wow, I don't feel so alone.
You're not the only crybaby, right?
Falling apart. Yeah.
I don't know if that was more Gary just clarifying you into crying, because that can happen when you're working with Gary.
That can hapen.
So true.
It's like, but why do you feel that way? I was like,
let's give Gary a hard time since he's not here to defend himself. So you guys
he's off on the golf course.
I know you guys are old friends. You've known each other for a long time. Tell us how you guys met, and what's the YOS connection between you two? I noticed, so both of you have simplify and make sense in your top 3. So let's go to the first question. How did you guys meet, Aidan?
So we met in college. We were so we met our freshman year of college, but then we were roommates our sophomore year, and we weren't like best friends at first sight. We kind of had a rocky start, but once we got to know each other, it was like instant connection. And then we were like inseparable. We literally went to each other's classes. I'm not even kidding. It's completely inseparable.
Yep.
And I think that's a lot of that's like contribute and trust are just kind of like a match made in heaven. And then when we also share a how and a what. It's like we were just meant to be best friends. It's just the way it is. So yeah, that's how we met. So.
So it's interesting you say that. I was playing golf with one of our Y coaches, Alex Kreka, and he and I share the same top three in a different order. He leads with challenge, makes sense, contribute, and I'm contribute, challenge, makes sense. And we were just talking about that because we're very different, but we think the same way, right? Even though, his personality is completely different, I'm constantly thinking outside the box. I'm constantly wanting to help people. And he tries to tell me, well, Dan, that's really, I love helping people. And I'm like, I get it. That's why your what is contribute. So it's interesting. Simplify and make sense. I mean, are your gatherings, when you guys come together, is it all about just, hey, let's keep it simple. I understand. Let's move on. Right?
I think like sometimes it's like overly simplified, if anything. Like we're always just like, okay, how can we, like we've both have already made sense of what we need to do. And then it's like what are the 3 things we need to do to get this done right now kind of thing. So
right.
And we'll be like, okay, let's go do it. Done. See you in an hour, and we'll let each other know how it's going. And that's like,
I love that. Jordan, Watson Jordan says the platinum rule is a key success factor in the Y discovery, KSF. So Watson is always introducing me to little abbreviations, key success factors, KSF. And then he also said the full YOS adds an insightful dimension in the team and couple Y discoveries. So Bella, we heard about Aidan's boyfriend. Tell us about you and your boyfriend and how you use the YOS in your relationship.
Yeah, it's funny because he's Better Way also, which Better Ways are just always in my life, it seems. They're always in very lead roles in my life. But so he's Better Way, makes sense, simplify. We actually share the how and the what. But I almost think his simplify is definitely leading. Yeah, although I think his Better Way almost kind of comes off a little bit more challenging than Better Way, but they are like very close. And Aidan,
they're very close, yeah.
Yeah, because they're both trying to change something and alter it from how it is. So it almost feels like a challenge, but it is him trying to better things.
So you obviously this, Bella, because you've been around it. The way you tell the difference is if he's doing it different just to be different, he's challenged. If he's doing it different because it's better, then he's Better Way.
Yeah, it's usually Better Way. Like I like to drive. Like when I go to the gym or things, I'll take like a different route because I think it's pretty and I think it's fun, and I'll do something else. And I'll be like, and then I went to Fort Collins to visit my friend, and then I came back down. He's like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Why would you not just like call them and then go directly on like the highway to this because it's way better? And I'm like, but that doesn't make me happy.
You don't get that great view, right?
Yeah, and he also has like one pair of shoes for each thing in life, like one pair of tennis shoes, one pair of dress shoes, and then one that's just a life shoe. And I don't understand that at all. But
it's very simple, right? So Bill says coaching is helping another person accomplish what they want. The why helps determine the pathways. So that leads to my next question. Thank you, Bill, for that comment. So my next question is, how do you use your YOS in the work that you're doing? Because you guys are so creative. You're coming up with a lot of great stuff that we use at Y Institute. How do you use your YOS? And then how do you use it? Even, I mean, we're on team calls a couple times a week. How do you do that? I'll go Aidan first.
Okay.
I think I have to fight mine a little bit sometimes because with what we do in marketing, you kind of have to dig in deep and find the nuances and almost be more mastery. And where me and Bella are just so simplified that that's not exactly what we want to do or like not our natural instincts. So at least I have the YOS that I can recognize, like why I don't want to do specific things or why it might be challenging for me. So I guess I kind of have to fight mine a little bit, but then there are things that really flow into my YOS where I'm like finding a process that's kind of complicated and I'm making sense of it and simplifying it. Right. And like, then I can help you guys by helping you understand it in something that's simple and concise and that makes sense. So I guess it just like feeds into like the work that I do all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, no. So Aidan, one of the things that you do, and I'm going to give you a hard time because we sit in meetings together sometimes, and you come up with such detailed maps of the work that you do, but then you find a way to simplify it and make sense. How do you take all that stuff? What do you attribute that to?
I mean, I guess I don't have a great answer for that. I think it really is like my simplify and make sense, like them put together, because I almost like overcomplicate things in order to simplify them, if that makes sense. So I come up with all these, like I try to think of like every case scenario and every side of things and every angle, and so that I can simplify it down to something that's actionable and something I can do, and then also explain it to you guys in a way that's simple and makes sense.
And I will tell you, I appreciate simple and makes sense, because when I remember you showed us the roadmap to understanding our clients. I mean, and there was so much to it. My eyes glazed and my brain started crying. And then you were able to simplify it and say, okay, this is what we got to do. And there's a gift in that. There's something about that that's very important that we need to recognize. And that's you living in your zone of genius, as Watson would say, right? Contributing by simplifying and helping us make sense. How about you, Bella? I know trust is so important to you. I know one of the things I hate hearing from Bella is like, you've lost my trust. You can do something, you better go do it, because we do not want to lose her trust.
Yes. Well, I guess like how I use the YOS and the work that I do. I mean, other than like answering that with 24/7,
Right.
because I feel like it's just constantly like so ingrained in me and what we do all the time and what we're trying to put out there, and the blogs that I write talking about the different whys and everything. But when it comes to meetings too, I feel like all of us can almost kind of like manipulate each other a little bit using the web, but like in a good way. But like if you're like, oh, I really just want some help with this, or then it just like ignites the contributes, or then if you want some help, I don't know, if you need like some new eyes on something for a way to make it better, then you can just go to my dad, and he will give you a million new ideas that maybe you didn't even want. But there's like ways for us to kind of almost use our strengths like that, which you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't know that. You wouldn't be able to like know who to go to on your team, or know who is good at what. Or if I want Aidan's help on how to simplify even if my simplify just is down for the day or something, or if I've been staring at it for too long and I don't know like where to turn next, then it's good to have someone who thinks similar to me, so we know we're kind of on the right path, but can have some new eyes on it.
Yeah. So Bella, you were on Watson's show yesterday, right? So you told some stories, and he just said zone of genius. I don't know if he used that with you, but I really like about that when you're working in your why, how, and what, you're kind of in your zone of genius, right? So for you, when you're building trust, when you're simplifying and making sense of things, you could do that all day long. That's high energy stuff for you, right? It gives you
definitely energy. Oh, 100%. Like if I can, even just working with the team, gives me high energy, because we're all people that I can trust and count on, and I know that everyone's reliable on the team and is doing their best and working hard, and that's something I appreciate. And then also like even just now working with the coaches more and stuff, I like building those relationships, because it's nice, because since we all work remote, I think I miss like or like face-to-face stuff sometimes. So getting to work with coaches a little bit and be their trusted source, if you will, of something that they can come to.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's nice to have that.
So I'm gonna ask Aidan a question. So Aidan, now that so you joined us, how long have you been with Y Institute? A little bit over a year, right?
No, I think it's only been 8 months, but
okay. So
it was last September.
You've done so much since you've been here. Feels like you've been here longer. So Aidan, what's changed since you learned your YOS in terms of how you message to people, how you talk to people, how you would introduce yourself to somebody new? What's been the biggest difference since you discovered who you are?
So I learned my YOS a little bit over a year ago. So it was before I actually came on. Because I'd been begging Bella. I was like, I can't wait to take the YOS. Like, when do I get to do it? When do I get to do it? And I do it early. And it just like everything kind of like clicked for me. I was like, this makes so much sense. And kind of since then, it also like put a lot of things into perspective. So I was, working at a job where I wasn't like contributing, simplifying, and making sense. And so it gave me the courage to kind of tackle a new venture. And enjoying the why and really pursue a career with you guys. And in terms of my like communicating, I when I interviewed for the job, it was just so natural because I could just talk about how I contribute, simplify, and make sense, and you guys understood the language, and so it was just super easy. And even when I meet people when I'm out and about, or random, when you just meet random people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes have to bite my tongue not to just blurt out that I work at Y Institute and immediately go into my YOS, because people just glaze over. They're like, what is she talking about? And actually, that's not even true. People are always immediately intrigued, and it's a great icebreaker. Right. So
it
is
a good icebreaker.
I think it's I don't know. I love the Y Institute and my YOS, and it just all kind of makes sense, and it just feeds in everything that I do all the time.
So you're
a while back when we had a team member leave, I immediately, because I knew that her strengths were in marketing and data and everything, and I knew that was something that we were kind of lacking at the time. And so as soon as we had a team member leave, I was like, Aidan, you have to apply. Like, you don't like your job. Like, this is perfect. You've always loved the Y. You've been such a big advocate for the Y, even before working here. So it was just really a match made in heaven a little bit.
Yeah. We're so glad to have you, because I remember I needed some part-time help. It was 2 hours a day, and I tried to hire Aidan. She's like, I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. for 2 hours a day, right? So we're so glad that we're able to bring you on full-time, and we get to take advantage of your talents, and you're a member of the team. So let me ask you this question, because I posted about this morning. Elon Musk said, you want to train your people so that they're good enough to leave, but you want to treat them well enough so that they don't want to. So how, and I think the insight that I shared on my post was, I think it's understanding the YOS of your team, and then allowing them to live in that space. It's gonna lead to retention, right? People are leaving jobs not because they hate the job, not because they hate the company. It's because they're not doing what they love to do. So we've got to figure out a way to do that. So this is your opportunity to give us a grade at Y Institute. How are we doing in terms of allowing you to live in your zone of genius so that you can be the best you that you can be?
Let's see. Let me think on that. It's just the communication itself, and just how our team works together, and how we do use the platinum rule in all communication aspects. It's always, if you need help with something, or if you want me to do something, you use Y-nipulation, and you're like, hey, Aidan, I need help. Can you help with this? And then or I need help simplifying this or making sense of this. I'm immediately going to perk up and be like, yeah, let me help. And it lets you live in a space where you just really do have unlimited energy. You just wake up and you're excited to go to work, and you're excited to talk to your team members, and even everybody else probably has a little bit of reservation when it comes to talking to their CEO or their boss, right, or the founder of a company. But I jump at the chance to talk to Gary, because he's just insightful and always really understanding and fun, and keeps everything really fun. And so yeah, I don't know. It's just a really great place to work, and such a great community to be a part of. So
did you just say Y-nipulation? I cannot believe. So now you're putting a sinister spin on it, but it is true, right?
Me and Bella say this all the time. This is not new.
Yeah.
Y-nipulation.
Yeah, we always talk about it.
Bella, tell me about your side of it. How are we doing in terms of allowing you to live in your trust, simplify, and make sense?
It's great, because I feel like I said, now I'm kind of working with coaches and everything. I think when I first came on, I was doing more admin-y things, and now that we're kind of more in leadership roles, it definitely allows me to feel like you guys trust me, and that I can be trusted, and that I can take on these bigger projects with me and Aidan together, and that we can also share these things that we're doing together, and building the trust of the community, and the trust that we want to have within the Y community and our coaches. And that we're always kind of trying to make sense of things. Even if her and I don't know how to do something, we can try and figure it out. And I think that's really strong, and it makes sense, because I think some people might panic and be like, I have no idea how to work HubSpot, or no idea how I can design this. Or sometimes Canva has weird little quirks where you're like, okay, well, if I layer this on this and then cut this off and do all these weird things that you have to do, and I think that's just how our make sense brains work, and it helps us kind of move forward and the company and work within our zone of genius a bit.
I love that. So I'm going to go totally Gen X on you guys. Are you guys millennials? Do we count you as millennials?
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
so,
okay,
yeah.
So I want to say this about you guys. One of the things, and Gary and I have talked about this, that you are amazing at, and I think your whole generation is really good at. You can't throw anything at you guys and that you're going to say, oh, I can't do that. What you say is, well, let me look it up. Let me research it. And one of the things that Gary talks about is you shrink time, because the time that it would take me to learn something new like that is forget it. I don't want to learn it. But you guys can take something that you've never done before, go look up some YouTube videos, sign up for training. Next thing you know, you've gone through to a mastermind and you've taken a class, and now you're like a HubSpot expert and you're coming up with how to use all that stuff, right? Oh, I like Lynn. That's a great one. Maybe Y-fluency instead of manipulation. I like him already. Great job, Lynn. Thank you so much. That's another way to do that. So I want to give you guys kudos on that too. Everybody out there that's always complaining about millennials, I'm going to tell you, this is when I look at the work that Bella and Aidan do for us, I have great hope for our future. I know that I can retire in a few years and not worry about the future of our country. We've got amazing young people that do amazing things like you guys are doing. So let me ask you guys this question, because this is an important one. I want to know, so what does it mean, Bella, to be the chief content creator? I posted about your name is Isabella, but your nickname is Bella, which is Spanish for beauty. And I'd say anytime, because I can make a crayon drawing and give it to Bella and she can and make it beautiful. So what does it mean when you're the chief content creator? What do you say is your biggest duty?
You kind of stole my thunder there. I was gonna say, well, I like to bellify things, or we say I bellify them, and which lucky for me, Bella means beautiful. But I really just like creating different things. I haven't created a lot of videos too recently, but like back when we were releasing the iOS, there was kind of hype videos, and then the one that we just saw, and then promo videos for Christmas campaigns and different things like that. And whenever I'm creating stuff, or I guess chief content creator means, just a lot of creating content. I really don't. Yeah. There's so much that goes into that. There's blogs, there's writing different blurbs for the website, there's copy for videos, all sorts of things that we're writing. Yeah. And her and I really collaborate on a lot of it nowadays, because we both can count on each other to do a good job. And we're like, hey, can you write this copy for this email, or can you create this thing? And we just collaborate a lot. So
I love that.
It really entails a lot of different.
And what people don't understand is how cool it is to come up with ideas and have you guys just bring them to life and create videos, create campaigns, and create content that is not just good, but it's also beautiful and people like to look at it, and we get lots of positive comments. So it's so great to have you guys on board. So Bella, tell us something that you do as the chief content creator at Y Institute that nobody would expect that Bella does.
Well, if anyone's ever on the website and they see that little chat thing on the bottom and it says that their name is Casey, that's actually me. I am Casey. Hello, world.
The big unveiling. Bella is Casey.
Yeah, and it just cracks me up because whenever people message in it, they're like, hi, Casey, or then they think they'll get a different answer emailing me or emailing coach support. And I'm like, I am all of these entities. So good luck. But
Bella's the puppeteer.
As of now, those are all one and the same person, right? But they think they're talking to three people. That's hilarious, Bella. Well, Aidan, what about you? Tell us about what you do as the chief marketing director. What does that mean? What's your chief role? What's your number one priority? And then tell us what you do.
Yeah, so all my marketing people that are watching or listening know that there is so much that goes into marketing. So to simplify and make sense and help you guys out, I would just say that it's kind of my main thing is just strategizing on how to find those people that are struggling and are looking for a solution like the
Right.
YOS discovery in their life, or YOS certification, or Team YOS, or Business YOS. And then once we can get those people to purchase those things, how to keep them. And so that's like to oversimplify it, it's
Right.
just how do we get our clients, and then how do we keep our clients? And then obviously into that it goes, you have email newsletters and social media and promotion of all of our content creation, SEO, web design, ads. Eventually we'll be running ads, and I'll be kind of spearheading that as well. So just pretty much everything from A to Z when it comes to marketing. And then I have a really great assist with Bella. She helps me with all the day-to-day stuff, and the beautiful content creation that you guys see every day, and the web design and everything. So yeah, that's mostly what it means to be the marketing director.
All right. So Aidan, tell us something that you do as the marketing director that nobody would expect that you do.
I have a good one, actually. I thought of this yesterday, but something that I feel like people would never think is that I literally have to scroll on social media to look for trends, and I save a bunch of emails that are just to get inspiration. So it's a lot of, and I don't sit on my phone and scroll all day, nothing like that, but I'm constantly, whenever I am on social media, thinking, oh man, that would be great for Y Institute, or oh, I'm going to take that idea and use that, or oh, we should totally make a video like this. Like, I constantly just have this library stored of inspiration and content ideas. So part of my job literally is scrolling through social media.
Isn't that great? And when I was in the military, when I was young and in the military and doing a lot of fun stuff like playing war games and stuff, I remember one time we were rafting down the river, and it was very quiet. It was in Florida. It was the swamps. But I remember turning to a friend and saying, hey, I said, we're getting paid for this, right? Right? You're scrolling through social media. All those young people out there that parents are yelling at them for scrolling. You get paid to scroll through social media. I have to show this comment. So Lisa Rosemeyer is like, you have been my best friend lately. What did she say? And then Bella, so I guess she was referring to you. She says she loves you. What's going on there with you and Lisa? You've got to tell us. This is probably has to do with Casey, right?
Yeah, it does have to do with Casey, my alter ego.
Yeah.
Just being in chat, just been helping Lisa with some different dashboard things. So we've been in communication a lot. So it's been great getting to know Lisa, even though she didn't know it was me.
So what's really cool, and for those of you that are coaches currently that are working with us, that's the other thing that Bella is amazing at, is supporting. So she helps our coaches walk through any kind of technical difficulties. She's also all the time talking to our tech team and to our coaches. So I know Lisa's with Salvio Partners, so she works with Rosie Ward, who they just had a huge event that they were doing. So it's amazing to see that you were able to support her. I know that I sent her your way when she had some questions on some of the things that they were doing, and sounds like you did a great job at it. You earned her trust, Bella.
Yeah, guess so.
Classic.
Good stuff. So let me ask you this question, and this is a really important one. And if your answer includes Daniel in it, it's going to be just fantastic, but it doesn't have to. What's your favorite part of being part of the Y Force?
Man,
let's go with Aidan first.
That is a hard question, because I think there's so much greatness in our community, in the Y Force, and our team. I would say a collaboration is probably my favorite part, because there's just a never-ending flow of ideas and energy and support, and just, I don't know, it's just an amazing community to be a part of. Every time I, want help with anything, or if I'm struggling with something, there's a lot of psychological safety there with our team. And I think we just all really love each other, and it's like a big family. And I think, that's the best part for me.
I love it. So two things. So, isn't it interesting? So Bella was not producing this show for a while, but then when Lisa said Bella's so responsive, told her she should ask her boss for a raise, all of a sudden that banner got put on. All of a sudden Bella went into production mode. Good job, Bella. And I know Gary's watching.
I have to share that one.
Yes, of course. So thank you very much for sharing that. And that, what we say all the time, we will take that into consideration, right? Our good friend Melanie Ake is talking about the team behind the team. This is great. Melanie's been very busy lately. He's had an amazing workshop yesterday with the Air Force, and she took them through a couple of days ago through some leadership training. So she's another one of our amazing coaches that just believes what we believe, that knowing your why is the first step in self-awareness, and that when you know the why of your clients, you can create an amazing plan for them so that you can talk their language, right? If we're creating a plan to move forward for Aidan, we want to make sure it's a plan that includes contributing, that it's a simple plan, and that it's a plan that helps people solve problems. And then and I did do this all the time when I'm talking to new potential coaches. I start talking them in their why, and they do exactly what Aidan said, right? I talked to Bella about, hey, look, let me show you how we can build trust. Let me show you the problem we're going to solve, and let me show you how we're going to make it simple. Automatically, that the head starts nodding. So as a coach, it's a tremendous advantage to know the YOS of your client, because then, as Aidan said earlier, you can speak their language and talk to them using the platinum rule, which is what they want to hear, right?
Yeah.
So Bella, I don't know that you had a choice. So I think I'm going to ask this question of Aidan. Aidan, tell us about your decision to join the Y Force. You've known about us for a long time. I don't know how long it took for Bella to finally tell you about it, because at first she wasn't so gung ho on it, right? But now you're part of it. What drove the decision?
Like to become a part of the team, or to join why?
To join the team.
Okay. Well, let's see. Bella kind of initiated it and said that you guys needed help, and I've been obsessed with why and Y Institute and everything since Gary gave me my why back in, I think it was 2016, when he sat us all down at dinner and gave us our why, and I cried, and it was this big emotional thing. From that point on, I was just I had a lot more direction in my life. And so then when I had the opportunity to work with the Y and to kind of be able to contribute to something that I believed in and to be able to help bring the Y to the world, it was really just a very easy decision. It was just, the second I heard that you guys needed help, I was like, sign me up. Here's my resume. Here's my LinkedIn. Go hire me.
So I'm going to ask. So that's how you made your decision, Bella. Do you ever remember a time when the Y didn't exist?
Not really, honestly. Because I found mine out when I was 14 or 15, and that was just. I mean, I don't even remember before I was 14 anymore. It feels like I've only been alive for 10 years.
So I always, I'll throw a little story, a little personal story, right? Personal story here. I met Bella for the first time. Her dad and I were on the way to a golf trip in Taos, and Gary forgot something. And I remember because Julie had to drive up and meet us halfway to Santa Fe. I don't know if it was his driver or something, but anyway, we met, or he took her wallet, but we met, and Bella and Q were in the back seat. It's still in their car seats. They were that young, and they were like, hey, and then Gary got what he needed. And you guys went back to Albuquerque. We went back up to Taos. But so I've known Bella for a long time, and it is so cool to have you be part of our team. I've heard about you because, by the way, those of you that don't know, Gary was my dentist for 20 years. So I've known the family for a long time. And I remember just hearing stories about Bella. Oh, Bella's graduating high school. She's in school. She's going to college. She graduated college. Oh, by the way, now that we're all on the Y Force, by the way, Bella's joining the team, and she's going to start helping do our marketing and do our blogs, customer support. I mean, you do so much, Bella. It's really so cool to see you and have you here. And then you go out and find your really talented friend and bring her on board. So that is so much fun about being at Y Institute. So there's three groups at Y Institute, right? So there's Y Society, and then there's Y Nation, and then there's Y Force. So give us the definition. Why don't we get Bella? You take Y Force. What's Y Force?
Y Force is our internal team. It's because we're forced to be reckoned with. I actually don't know if that's why, but Y Force is the internal team. So it's you, Aidan, me, Gary.
You stop there.
Rafiq.
Just you, me, and Aidan, right?
Yeah, just us.
Awesome. So the Y Force is the internal team, and Aidan, who is Y Society?
Y Society is our coaching community. So all of our YOS certified professionals, they are Y Society.
Excellent. And then Y Nation. Who's Y Nation? I'll leave that to Bella.
Okay.
Oh.
You can do it
Shut
too,
down.
Aidan. It's no problem.
Just the community as a whole. It's everybody that's ever taken their Y and their YOS, and everybody that's part of the community. It's everybody.
So one of the things that we do when as part of your training, and both of you have done that, is you have to go through the same certification training that our coaches do. So what was that like? And now that you're certified, I know you often share the why with your friends or with your family. What was the biggest learning you had, because you've been on the other side of it? You received, you got the manual. Bella, you started with the manual process. What was it like once you became certified and you learned the ins and outs and how to help people understand their challenge, their strengths, their challenges, and how to overcome those challenges? Start with you, Bella.
Well, it's funny because I actually didn't go through the YOS certification stuff, but that's only because I edited all of the videos and actually put it together. So I watched the meeting quite a few times. So I didn't want to go through it again. But so I have like kind of taken it. But I think like the biggest learning was, I don't know, just going through like all of the nuances and the history of the YOS stuff that I sometimes didn't know or kind of forget about.
Right.
And I think like kind of just learning how to talk about it with someone, because, sometimes I'll have someone take the Y or the YOS, but I don't have like the words to help them kind of understand it a little bit more.
Right.
But going through it, I do a lot more just kind of knowing how to, sometimes like you'll run into a mastery and you're like, oh gosh, how do I talk about this one? But I've gotten better with like the contribute and obviously trust and better way ones and challenge that comes up a lot. But it's kind of like learning the nuances of the ones that I didn't know as well, because before I was on the team, like obviously I knew all of the 9 Ys, but I knew that like clarify and simplify were on there and like in mastery and those ones, but I didn't know the nuances of them. I just knew that they existed, but I didn't know them at a deeper level.
That's great. What about for you, Aidan? And yeah, Bella, I mean, you didn't technically go through the training, but you probably watched every video like 10 times as you were editing, creating. Right? How about you, Aidan?
I didn't take the quizzes, but I wrote them.
Right.
For me, I guess, I mean, it's very similar. Like I had to learn all the nuances. I had to learn all the details of all the Ys because I didn't even know all of the 9 Ys, coming in, because I was, pretty on the outside until joining the team. And then also learning about the sequence and how the why and the how and the what relate to the limbic part of the brain versus the neocortex part of the brain. And so that was a really big learning experience for me, and like how your brain essentially works and how you make decisions and why that leads to the why and that's why the sequence matters and stuff. So that was something that was just like a big eye-opening learning experience for me, probably the biggest. And obviously just learning the nitty-gritty details of how to get people to discover their why and their how and their what. Luckily we have the assessment and discovery so that we don't have to like give it to them manually anymore, because I don't know how great I would be at that. But yeah. Excellent.
So we're coming to the end. One of the things I want to do is I want to share another one of the videos that you guys put together, because this is an amazing video. I play it at the beginning of every Why Not Wednesday, and then I think we'll end on that note. So Bella, Aidan, thank you so much for being on today. Is there any question I didn't ask that you want me to ask? And Aidan, you're not allowed to put what you put in the pre-show notes. You're not allowed to do that.
But it was so funny.
Hey, so let's make sure we give so Resilience Season 3 is all about the whys. And Watson, you're doing such a great job. You're getting in touch with different coaches, different people involved in Y Institute that have all of the 9 Ys. And Lynn Everard said it was the aha that this was me, and the same for all the people that he has taken through it. So I'm going to say, have a great day, guys. I'm going to play that video and let everybody see your genius one more time, and then we'll go off the air. So here's my favorite Bella Aidan creation.
There's a certain kind of coach who believes what we believe, who leads people to greatness, who gets people unstuck, who unlocks all of your passion. A coach who helps people discover what drives them, to tap into their superpowers. That knowing your why is the first step to untap potential, to focus, to breakthroughs. A coach who's looking for a better way. Are you that coach?